Hi class, today we're going to be starting lesson 6 and lesson 7. This is in your book and it's on page 174 and it's the lesson about typographic design. So you're actually taking the image that you just edited from lesson 6 and you're going to be playing with it a little bit more. So here's the pattern background that we created, the shadow, the green glasses, and then remember that we tilted her head backwards. So you can start with this 07 start file, and then we're going to save it as 07 working. And that's a PSD file. So we are going to be creating a clipping mask here, and they want us to be in the graphic and web mode. So if you go up to the top right corner of Photoshop, usually we're on essentials, but let's go on and change that to graphic and web for this one. And you're gonna see you have two layers. So you have your background layer and your model. And whenever you make a clipping mask is basically clipping something behind something else. So you have two layers, you'll need two layers, and we are going to create a type layer to do this. So we're going to go up to the view menu and we're going to go to fit on screen. And then we're going to go up to view again and go to rulers. Make sure that's checked. And then if it's not in inches, you want to right click on the ruler up here and just change that to inches. Now we haven't really done much with guides. I'm going to go ahead and uncheck this show transform controls box. Okay, but a guide, you can pull out from your rulers a line that goes to a specific point. So we're going to actually drag a vertical guide from the left ruler to the center of our document. And the center of our document is 4.5 inches. Or sorry, 4.25. There we go. So it should kind of snap to the center. Now we're going to add our type. So go to your text tool. And go ahead and select the pattern fill layer and it'll go just above that. We're going to choose a serif type font such as Minion Pro Regular. If you don't have that, you can use another serif. Our font size is going to be 115 points. And then we want to center that text, so click on center. And then you're going to open up the character panel, which is right here, little folder. And over here, we're going to set our tracking value to 50. So if you hover over these, it'll tell you what they are. This horizontal one is your tracking value, and that's the horizontal spacing between letters. So we want that at 50. Okay, so now we're going to click right over that center point, and we're just gonna type the letters in all caps, type cast. And I noticed that my size didn't work like I wanted it to. So I'm going to highlight all of that. And I'm going to take it up to 115 points. Okay, and then if you hover off of the text, you can get the move tool and move it around. So something else that happened really weird here is that my A is a different font than everything else. It's very interesting. So, I don't know, it says it's all Minion Pro. So I'm not really sure what's happening there. Oh, now it's fixed. Okay, so you're going to size that to where it fits on your screen. And then it says to try a different font family because we want something that's more modern. So there's kind of a cool trick that you can do if you want to try different fonts. You can click up here in the font field and then just use the up or down arrows. And it will go through all the fonts for you. Some of them obviously are not the right characters that you would want. I'm looking at Optima. So what they end up using is Myriad Pro in the semi-bold category. So that's kind of what they went with. Just pick something similar to that. So a sans serif font, go ahead and click the check mark. And mine is white, but in the book there's this black. That actually doesn't matter at all because we're going to be coloring it different anyways. So we're going to save that. And then we're going to go ahead and do our clipping mask. So we're going to go up to File. And we're going to go to Place Embedded. You always want to do Embedded if you're going to place an image within your document. And then you're going to place this metal TIF file, which is going to be what we make the background of our text. So go ahead and place that. And we're going to drag that upwards to the top of the box. And then we'll click the check mark or press return. And then with that layer selected, you're going to right click on it and go down to create clipping mask. So what it does is it clips it behind the layer that is below it. So you'll see this little L-shaped arrow here. That means it is clipped behind the typecast layer. So the order of your layers does matter here. You want to have your background, your type, your meta layer, and then your model. Now we're going to add a little bit of shadow to it. So still on the meta layer, you're going to go to Effects down at the bottom. And you're going to choose Inner Shadow. And you can kind of drag this over here to preview it. So we're going to make sure our blend mode is multiply. Opacity should be about 48. Distance is going to be 18. Choke is 0 and size is 16. So if you're looking at the actual box, you should be able to see some of these changes. My preview's not working for some reason. Let's just click OK and see. Oh, I put it on the wrong layer. So I'm going to click this inner shadow and I'm just going to drag it down a layer. To the typecast layer. There we go. So that was meant to be on this typecast layer. Sorry. So now you can see that inner shadow. And you can see how it gives your text some depth. Okay, go ahead and save that. The next thing we're going to do is add text on a path. So you want to go to your paths panel. The way you get to that is by going to Window, Paths. It's way down here. Okay, I'm just going to drop it over here for now. So it should be next to your layers panel. Okay, so you're going to select speech path and you're going to see this little S shape here. And it's a path that appears to be coming out of the model's mouth. Then you're going to use your horizontal type tool and you want to right align the text. Not that one. Let's just get off that typecast layer. Okay, so now we're gonna use the type tool again, but this time we want to right align it. And we want Myriad Pro regular. Our font size is gonna be 14. Our tracking is going to be -10. Colors white, and then we want all caps. So go ahead and move the horizontal type tool over the path, and you'll see a small slanted line appear across the I bar. Click near the end of the path closest to the model's mouth. So see how that little slash line appears? That's what you want. So you're going to type what's new in 3D type, and then a question mark. And you're already in all caps, so you don't have to worry about the capitalization. Okay, so go ahead and click the check mark. Then you want to select the words 3D type, and we're going to make those bold. Okay, now go over to your layers panel and you're going to duplicate that layer. So you right click, duplicate layer. It just placed it on top of the text that was there. And then we're gonna go Control T or Command T to free transform. And we're gonna rotate it 15 degrees. Then you're gonna go up with the path and a little bit to the right, like so. Okay, then when you click the check mark, you'll see the text show up. And instead of 3D type, we're going to highlight that and we're going to replace it with web type, question mark. And then you can click the check mark. So now you'll see you have two different layers of text over here. Okay, now we're going to get what's new in 3D type again and duplicate it. But this time we're going to free transform, Control T or Command T, and we're going to go minus 15 degrees. And we'll go ahead and just drag it down to where it looks like it's in a good spot. You can use the arrow keys if you need to. Okay, then click the check mark. So it looks like it's a little bit too close, so I'm going to get the move tool and just move that down a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to the text tool by pressing T, and I'm going to replace the text with type effects. So if your text disappears like mine did, you just need to hold down Command and drag this box a little bit bigger. Or you can make your font size a little bit smaller. Either way. Okay. So go ahead and save that. Okay, so we're going to zoom in to our sentences here. So picking up on page 184, we're going to zoom in so that we can see all three of the text paths, and we're going to right click on the What's New in 3D type layer. So you want to right click on that, and then you are going to go to Warp Text. Okay. If you see that faux bold thing show up, just click OK. It'll remove it. And then under warp text, we are going to choose wave. You can have a bunch of different kinds of shapes. And then for this one, you can kind of see what it's doing. It's kind of making that wave shape. So we're going to put the bend at 33%. The horizontal distortion at -23. And the vertical distortion at 5. So I was just going to kind of like give it a little bit of a warped effect. Okay, so just click OK on that. And then we're going to do the same thing with the other two type layers. So right click on it, warp text, and you can just kind of play with it. I'm just going to put all of mine on wave. And then I'm going to do the third layer as well. If you want to try some different settings, feel free. Okay. So in case you haven't figured it out already, we are working on a magazine cover. And we've got the title of the magazine, and then we have the words coming out of her mouth. Now we're going to be adding a paragraph of text, and so you're going to want to add a few guides to our document. So we're going to zoom in until we can see the top half of the document, and then we're going to drag a guide a 1/4 inch in from the right edge. So click on your ruler, drag a line across to where that guide is at 8 1/4 inches, 8.25, okay? And that's just gonna give us our margin on this side, okay? And then we're gonna also drag a guide down from the top ruler at 2 inches down. Okay? Alright, so now we're gonna go to this yellow sticky note. We want to get our move tool, which is V, and we're going to click on when you just see the black pointer, you're going to double click. And what that's going to do is it's going to open up the notes panel over somewhere on your toolbars. So you can see in the notes panel that they've saved some text for us already. So we are going to select all of that text, should already be selected, and then we're going to copy it. So we're going to go Command C or Control C. Then we're going to click on the model layer in our layers panel, and we are going to use the horizontal type tool. So we're going to put the pointer where the guides intersect up here, about a 1/4 inch from the right edge and 2 inches from the top of the canvas. And then you're going to hold down Shift as you drag a text box. So when you have the type tool and you drag out a shape, it's going to make a text box for you. So we're going to click in that corner right there, and then we're going to hold down Shift as we drag down and to the left. Okay, so we are making a text box, and when we let go of our mouse, it's actually going to fill that text box with some fake text. And since we already have our text copied, we can just Command V or Control V over that. So you can paste your text there, get rid of the filler text. Okay, so now you're ready to change the way the text looks. So go ahead and highlight the first 3 lines, the trend cast. That one is going to be Myriad Pro regular. The font size is going to be 70 points. And then you want to open up you're done with the notes panel. Want to open up your character panel. The leading, which is your vertical line spacing, is going to be 55 points. And then the tracking is going to be 50. And the color is white. I think it should already be selected, but just make sure it's on right align. Then you're just going to select the word trend by itself. And you're going to change the font style up here from regular to bold. So now we're going to select the rest of the text that we have pasted. And we may have to drag our text box down a little bit to see all of it. So I'm going to select the rest of the text. And it's going to be Myriad Pro regular as well. We'll start with the font size of 22 on that. And then your leading is going to be 28. Tracking is going to be 0. And make sure that all caps is deselected. Okay, now we're going to select the line that says what's hot. And we are going to make that one bold. And the font size is going to be 28 points. Then you're going to do the same thing for the line that says what's not. So 28 and bold. Okay, then you're going to select the word trend again. And we're going to change it to a blue color. So go ahead and click on your little white swatch and you can put either your RGB value, which is in the book on page 188, or you can use the hex value. So I'm going to use the hex value. It's 00AEEF. And then click OK. So now you can click the check mark to commit the changes, and then you're going to save your document. Okay, the last thing we can do is get rid of our guides. So we're going to go View, Show Guides, and uncheck it. And then we can also get rid of this little sticky note down here by right-clicking on it and delete note. Okay, so there's our magazine cover. It's looking pretty good. You guys can see that. If you save a Photoshop document as a Photoshop PDF, it will preserve the vector type, so that's good. You can see all your type layers here. All of these type layers are vector based, which means if you were to scale it up or down, it would not pixelate. And so saving your document as a Photoshop PDF or a PSD is what you want to do in that case. So it looks like at the end of this chapter, they're just going to have you save it as a JPEG. So I'll just have you do that. File, export, export as. And you can just drag the quality up to high and save that. So I'll have you turn in the JPEG and the PSD.